You might be one of the dumbest folks on the planet Earth.
Congratulations. Shannon Sharpe, you just went from Hall of Fame tight end to Hall of Fame dumbass.
I apologize, but I'm going to do it one final time tonight, and I won't apologize again. I'm sorry that I upstate.
That's right. Stephen A. Smith didn't even have to try. All he had to do was look at your life choices, and the jokes basically wrote themselves. Imagine spending 14 years in the NFL, catching passes like a superhero, building generational wealth, flexing on everyone with your suits, your cigars, your podcast empire, and then throwing it all away because you couldn't resist an OnlyFans model half your age. Bruh, that's not just fumbling the bag, that's fumbling the whole damn stadium. Stephen A. didn't even have to roast you, Shannon. He just pointed out the obvious. Brother, you might be one of the dumbest folks alive. And the internet went wild. The memes started flying faster than Tom Brady's passes. Twitter had you treading like a new Marvel movie trailer, except instead of Black Panther, you got billed as Black Blunder. And let's be real here, Stephen A. wasn't wrong, because the comedy isn't just in what you did, Shannon. It's in who you are.
ESPN and Disney have a wait-and-see attitude when it comes to whatever evidence they may learn about this entire situation involving Shannon Sharpe from a legal and from a civil perspective.
You're 57 years old, worth millions, sitting on a throne in sports media, and somehow you convinced yourself it was smart to risk it all for a fling with someone who wasn't even alive when you got drafted. That's not midlife crisis, that's full-blown career suicide. This isn't just a roast. This is the world watching you step on a Lego barefoot every single day of Stephen A.
Came to me and said, it's yours. You're responsible for it. If I didn't want Shannon Sharpe at first take, Shannon Sharpe wouldn't be at first take.
Absolutely.
That's just how I roll.
You one of the few, Stephen A.
Straight up said, if I didn't want Shannon, he wouldn't be on First Take. Translation, boy, you only here because I let you sit at my table. That's not partnership, that's a landlord reminding the tenant who really owns the property. And the irony is delicious, because now, with Shannon's career hanging by a thread, people are whispering, did Stephen A. bring him in just to set him up? Did he see the storm brewing from a mile away and say, yeah, come sit next to me, I'll make sure you self-destruct in 4K? This is where it gets juicy. Fans are out here spinning conspiracy theories like Netflix writers. Was this all jealousy, power struggles at ESPN, or was Stephen A. just tired of sharing the spotlight with another loud, funny, opinionated black man who could actually keep up with him?
My family, friends, supporters, and colleagues, I want to speak to you directly and from the heart. This is a shakedown. I'm going to be open, transparent, and defend myself because this isn't right. This is all being orchestrated by Tony Busby, who has targeted Jay-Z. Tony Busby targets black men, and I believe he's going to release a 30-second clip of a tape that tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you could possibly imagine. And you're trying to manipulate the media.
Whatever the truth is, one thing's undeniable. Stephen A. played his role like a chess master. He pulled Shannon in, gave him the spotlight, and then when the lawsuits, the debt, and the messy headlines hit, he turned that spotlight into a magnifying glass and let Shannon cook himself like an ant on the sidewalk. It's like saying, do I think my man's guilty? Nah, but don't quote me in court, don't put me on the witness stand, and definitely don't put my name in the paperwork. Savage. Stephen A. basically said, I hope Shannon's innocent, but if he's guilty, couldn't be me. This is the genius of Stephen A. He knows how to sound loyal while keeping his hands clean. He'll hug you in public, but sanitize immediately after. Shannon thought he had backup, but in reality, he had a dude standing 6 feet away, nodding along like, yeah bro, hope you beat the case, but I'm not catching no strays with you. And that's when it hit fans.
The encounter in question took place during the day at her invitation, and now that appears to be a deliberate setup, coordinated by Gabby, also known as Carly on OnlyFans. Gabby and Tony Busby want $50 million. What they're getting is sued for defamation and trying to take me down. My career is all about real talk and honesty. I know my family and fans know exactly.
Stephen A. isn't just a commentator, he's a survivalist. ESPN is full of sharks, and Stephen A. has lasted this long because he never lets anyone else's mess splash on his shoes. Shannon was drowning in lawsuits, and Stephen A. looked down from the boat like, damn, that's crazy. Anyway, the fall-off wasn't slow either. It was like watching someone trip down an escalator going up. Every headline hit harder than the last. Lawsuit after lawsuit, settlement after settlement. Every time his name popped up, it wasn't about a hot take on First. Take it was about him fumbling his entire legacy for drama worthy of a VH1 reality show. And here's the punchline. The internet loves a downfall. They cheered for Shannon when he was flexing his cigars and interviewing stars, but once he slipped, oh, the vultures circled, memes of him crying, edits of him photoshopped into broke characters, fans replaying old clips like Prophecy. Even Monique and Cat Williams' warnings got dug up, slapped with captions like, "He should have listened." This is the danger of being a public figure in 2025. One minute you're sipping champagne, the next you're the punchline of Twitter's Joke of the Day thread. And Shannon, he gave them enough material to last year's. What makes it even worse? Shannon knew better, he'd been told better, he'd been warned. But instead of listening, he brushed it off. Now his reputation's in the dirt, and Stephen A. is on national TV turning the shovel. It's not just a downfall, it's a comedy special, and the internet has front row seats. So, when people say,
what they didn't need, as it pertains to those two things that I just mentioned, they didn't need any definitive evidence at this particular moment in time about all of that stuff. Once all the things Shannon Sharpe's lawyer put out there, it was uncomfortable to listen to, and it was not something that Walt Disney once associated with its brand. So to have him on the airwaves while all of that stuff was put out there was not something that Disney was going to take. That is what I mean when I say I am not surprised.
Shannon went from legend to laughingstock. They're not exaggerating. Word on the street? Shannon's settlement with Gabrielle Zuniga left him broke. Like, not just tight on cash broke. We're talking the kind of broke where you start eyeing your sneakers like potential eBay listings. The man went from popping champagne to probably Googling, how much can I get for slightly used dumbbells? And here's where it gets funny, because Shannon knew the numbers. He played in the NFL. He's done the math. He knows how fast money can disappear when lawyers start billing by the minute. But instead of slowing down, tightening up, and protecting the bag, he went full speed into scandal like a Ferrari with no brakes. Now the headlines are saying he's drowning in debt, and fans are out here comparing his net worth to the very women he used to brag about dating. Twitter's ruthless. Damn, Gabby retired from OnlyFans richer than Shannon's NFL career. Bruh, that's not just an L, that's a franchise loss. The sad part, it didn't have to be this way. He could have stayed clean, stayed focused, kept cashing those ESPN checks, and built generational wealth. Instead, he let lawsuits and poor choices eat him alive. And the cherry on top, Stephen A. Smith saw it coming. You could see it in his eyes like a shark smelling blood in the water. Picture this. Shannon Sharpe's world is collapsing. Lawsuits piling up, settlements draining the bank account, his name trending for all the wrong reasons. And Stephen A., he sits in that ESPN chair with a grin, ready to go in. He spends 2 full commercial breaks tearing Shannon apart. And let me tell you, the smirk was the killer. Stephen A. tried to lace his rant with fake sympathy. I got love for Shannon, I really do. But his face said, "This is the best content I've had all year." Fans caught it instantly.
Number one, I was not there. I can provide no eyewitness account. And even though I got love and respect for Shannon Sharpe, and I'm sincerely hopeful and prayerful that he is completely innocent of the allegations that have been levied against him, I can't sit here and speak to his innocence or guilt.
Twitter blew up with screenshots of that grin saying, "This man is low-key enjoying Shannon's funeral." The genius of it, Stephen A. balanced it perfectly. He sprinkled in just enough, "I got your back, brother," to sound respectful, but laced every sentence with shade sharp enough to slice through steel. It wasn't just a roast, it was a eulogy disguised as concern. By the end of the segment, Shannon Sharpe wasn't just broke, he was broken. His reputation was in tatters, and Stephen A was basically the MC of the roast battle nobody knew they were watching. Here's the wild part. ESPN let him cook. Normally, the suits at Disney get nervous about employees flaming each other on air, but in this case, they let Stephen A roll for 20 minutes straight. No interruptions, no awkward cuts. They knew this was ratings gold. Think about it. ESPN execs are sitting in a boardroom like, okay, we've got LeBron highlights, NFL preseason talk, and, oh yeah, our morning host is being accused of choking an OnlyFans model? Perfect brand synergy. Bruh, no way. Disney doesn't want their wholesome, family-friendly logo even in the same zip code as a scandal this messy. So what did they do? They pulled the classic corporate move. Smile on the outside, panic on the inside, and quietly distance themselves until the storm passes. Officially, they called it a wait-and-see approach. Translation, we don't have proof yet, but your reputation is already radioactive, Shannon. Please don't sit too close to the mouse ears. And here's the killer. Disney didn't need hard evidence. They didn't need a guilty verdict. All they needed were those headlines, those leaked audios, and Twitter memes roasting Shannon daily.
All black women gold diggers. He told his own children, that he should be the last option that they are able to call whenever they need help. He didn't even want to pay for his own, I believe it was his daughter's wedding. He was a willing participant. He was a willing participant in every single thing that he did, and I don't feel sorry for him. The universe sent him signs. Cat Williams tried to warn him. He said it takes 2 weekends. Monique tried to warn him that him now, at the age of 57.
That was enough. Because at the end of the day, Disney isn't in the sports business. They're in the squeaky clean image business. And Shannon Sharpe became the opposite of squeaky clean. And here's the twist of the century. That deal evaporated faster than Shannon's OnlyFans subscriptions when the lawsuit hit. One minute he's about to set records in sports media. Next minute, Gabrielle Zuniga drops a $50 million bombshell lawsuit, and suddenly Shannon's not signing contracts. He's signing checks to lawyers. This is what makes his downfall so dramatic. He wasn't washed up, he wasn't fading, he was at the peak ESPN bag on the side, podcast bag in the middle, endorsements stacking up. The man was literally sitting on the sports media throne. Then, boom, one lawsuit and the empire collapsed like a house of cards in a hurricane. And the irony? Fans are now saying Stephen A might have known it was coming. Imagine your friend smiling at you on air, hyping you up, knowing in the back of his mind your empire is about to burn down. That's not friendship, that's villainy with a necktie. Because here's the truth. Stephen A has ears everywhere. ESPN, industry insiders, TMZ whisperers, you name it. He's not just a loudmouth on TV, he's a damn newsroom in a suit. When Stephen A opened his mouth about Shannon, it didn't sound like opinion. It sounded like inside information sprinkled with allegedly just to keep the lawyers happy. The internet caught it instantly. Fans were like, hold up, why does Stephen sound like he read the police report before the cops did? Every word had that smug confidence, like a man who knew Shannon's goose was already cooked. It's the same vibe your mom gets when she says, I know what you did, and somehow she really does. And that's why Shannon looked extra guilty, because when your co-host, your supposed ally, sounds this sure, it doesn't come off as defending you. It comes off as confirming the streets were right all along. Stephen A wasn't talking like a friend. He was talking like a man who'd been sitting on receipts waiting for the green light. Bruh, that excuse is older than dial-up internet. Every celebrity caught slipping says the same thing. They're lying for clout, they're lying for cash. And sure, sometimes it's true. But here's the thing. If everybody keeps hitting you with lawsuits, at what point do we stop believing the universe is out to get you and start thinking, maybe you're the common denominator? Shannon went on record saying the accusations were false, that Gabrielle Zuniga was just trying to extort him for $50 million. Sounds bold, right? Except the timing was tragic. By then, the internet had already roasted him into ashes. People weren't asking, is he guilty? They were saying, how broke is he going to be after this settlement? And here's the kicker. Stephen A. Loki made it worse. He didn't co-sign the shakedown defense. He didn't clap back at the accuser. He just sat there like, well, that's Shannon's side of the story. Translation, don't drag me into this mess. That left Shannon out in the cold, yelling, it's a setup, while everyone else sipped their tea and scrolled through memes. The sad part, if Shannon had stayed quiet, maybe the speculation dies down. But Yelling's hake down just made him look defensive, like the dude who swears he didn't cheat while holding lipstick-stained receipts in his hand. Every denial became another joke. Every statement, another meme. The lawsuit dropped, and within minutes, the memes were flying. I'm talking faster than ESPN highlight reels. One had Shannon photoshopped holding a for sale sign outside his mansion. Another had him as a DoorDash driver delivering Stephen A. Smith's lunch. The captions were ruthless. UNC went from Club Shay Shay to Club Layaway. And the thing about memes, they don't care about the truth. Nobody on Twitter was reading court documents. Nobody was digging through affidavits. They were too busy slapping Shannon's face on Monopoly Broke cards and remixing his old NFL highlights with sound bites of cash registers. Every time Shannon tried to defend himself, the memes only got worse. He'd release a statement saying, "These allegations are false," and the internet would reply with SpongeBob memes. "Aight, ema head out. You can't win against a billion amateur comedians with free Wi-Fi and no chill." The scariest part? Memes spread faster than facts. ESPN could have dropped a 10-page statement clearing Shannon's name, and nobody would have cared. Because once the internet decides you're guilty, the court of public opinion has already sentenced you. Life without clout. And you know who was watching it all with a smirk? Stephen A. Smith. That man didn't need to lift a finger. The internet did the roasting for him. All Stephen A. had to do was show up on First Take, raise an eyebrow, and boom. Twitter clipped it, captioned it, and turned it into another viral meme. So now, when people think of Shannon Sharpe, they don't think Hall of Famer. They don't think Monique once said Hollywood will chew you up and spit you out the second you slip. She was talking about herself, but damn if that doesn't fit Shannon Sharpe like a custom-tailored suit. He thought he was untouchable. ESPN money, YouTube clout, celebrity friends. But the second that scandal hit, boom, out came the wolves, and suddenly everybody's making a meal out of his reputation. And then there's Cat Williams. Remember his interview where he roasted industry hypocrisy and called out how fake the game is? Yeah, Shannon's whole saga feels like a live-action example. Cat warned us, the industry will smile in your face while quietly plotting your downfall. Sound familiar? Stephen A. Smith, anyone? What's wild is how fans connected the dots. After Shannon's lawsuit broke, clips of Monique and Kat started trending again. People were like, damn, they tried to warn us? This is what happens when you play with Hollywood money and scandal at the same time. And let's be real, Monique and Kat weren't wrong. Shannon thought the culture would rally behind him, but instead, the culture turned him into content. Instead of sympathy, he got punchlines. Instead of support, he got memes. Exactly what Monique said. Exactly what Kat said. So picture this. Shannon Sharpe's lawsuit is blowing up, his credibility is leaking like a busted tire, and over on The Breakfast Club, Charlamagne can't stop chuckling. He didn't even need to drop a punchline, the laugh alone was enough. That he became the sound of Shannon's career flatlining in real time. And here's why it stung worse. Charlamagne is the guy who crowned Shannon Unk in the first place. He was part of the culture machine that elevated Shannon from retired NFL player to media superstar. So when he started laughing, it was like the same person who hyped you up at the party is now handing out flyers for your downfall tour. Fans caught on quick. Memes popped up like, when Charlamagne laughs, your PR team cries. And let's be real, he wasn't laughing because it was funny. He was laughing because it was predictable. Shannon set himself up like a walking punchline, chasing an OnlyFans model half his age, flexing like he was untouchable, then acting shocked when it all exploded. Charlamagne didn't need to roast Shannon with words. His silence and that evil giggle said it all. Bruh, we told you not to play stupid games. And in the culture of hip-hop media, that laugh hit harder than any ESPN headline. At first, fans expected a flood of support. Maybe a LeBron tweet, a Skip Bayless defense, some athlete homies saying, nah, not Unk. He's solid. Instead, crickets, ghost town, tumbleweeds. The same celebrities who used to flood his comment section with fire emojis, now they were acting like they forgot his even existed. Not even a prayers up tweet. Not even a vague hope you're good, bro. Nothing. Shannon was out here drowning, and everybody else was suddenly busy with family stuff. That silence is brutal because in Hollywood, silence is a statement. Nobody wanted to be caught dead defending him. Why? Because the culture loves a winner, but abandons you the second you look like a liability. They weren't going to risk their brand co-signing a man being roasted daily by memes, lawsuits, and Stephen A. Smith's side-eye. And you know what hurt Shannon? He's the type who built his career on relationships, on charisma, on being unseen. But when the heat came down, his so-called circle evaporated like smoke. That's the real betrayal, not the memes, not even Stephen A.'s roast. The fact that his friends went silent like they'd never heard of him. The internet didn't need a judge after that. They heard a few seconds of Shannon's deep, gravelly voice allegedly barking threats at Gabrielle Zuniga. And boom, case closed in the court of public opinion. People weren't asking, is this real? They were asking, damn, how many years is he facing? And that's the twisted thing. The audio didn't even need to be authenticated. It didn't matter if it was edited, out of context, or AI generated. Because once people believe it's you, perception becomes reality. You can tweet all day about being innocent, but nobody's listening when the internet already has the soundtrack to your downfall. The memes? Ruthless. One had Shannon's face over Darth Vader with the caption, "Join me or else," allegedly. Another had him photoshopped into a WWE promo screaming into the mic. And Stephen A. Smith, man looked like he was sipping that tea quietly, probably thinking, thank you, Jesus, I didn't even have to cook this man myself. That leaked audio wasn't just damaging, it was cinematic, the kind of thing Hollywood screenwriters wish they could invent. It gave Shannon's scandal a soundtrack. It gave fans proof, or at least the illusion of proof, that he wasn't just messy, he was dangerous. Fans noticed the energy shift too. Before, every episode trended for days. Now, you'll be lucky if people even remember it dropped. The comments went from "Unk, you're the GOAT," to "Now he's not Unk." He's not the lovable meme, he's the cautionary tale. The man who had it all, money, fame, influence, and fumbled it faster than a rookie wideout in the rain. The culture doesn't remember your wins, it remembers your downfall. And Shannon's downfall? Phew, that's one for the record books. So here lies Shannon Sharpe's media career. Born in hype, raised by memes, and buried by his own mess. The coffin is sealed, the dirt is thrown, and Stephen A. Smith is standing over the grave shaking his head like, I tried to tell y'all,